Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Jake.
What book are we talking about today?
Oh, shit, I don't know. What book are we talking about today?
It's a trick question. We're not talking about no book.
Oh, we're not.
What did
God. I'm so stupid.
What did you think? This was some kind of podcast about books?
No, this is not a podcast about, well, normally it's a podcast about books, but this particular episode is a very special episode about a very special contest that we had.
That's right. And
we have some winners.
We do. So the contest was write some lyrics related to the podcast in some way. The rules got more and more lax. The more and more months passed without any entries. But we ended up with 4 entries for 2 prizes. So that's great. So I think we'll start with the winners and then we'll move on to the runner-ups.
That sounds perfect.
It does.
So what was your winner?
My winner was by Katy, REDACTED, a song called The Grasshopper Jungle.
That song was fantastic. I can't wait to hear it.
Rising up onto the roof, that's where the world started ending. Unstoppable eggs were fertilized by some blood. Now there's a man with a will to survive. A horny teen, a by love triangle would have been bad enough. Adding a giant horny praying mantis seems like it was a very bad idea. It's the Grasshopper Jungle, it's the weirdest book about an apocalyptic insectile rising. And the last known survivors now all live underground, with occasional smoke break runs out to the outside. In the small town of Ealing, Austin and his friend Robbie escape an army of 6-foot mantises now who only want to do 2 things. It's the Grasshopper Jungle, but there's no grasshoppers, and in fact there's no jungle for that matter. And the last known survivors now all live underground, and they only can leave there by going up a ladder. If you like grimacing lemurs, then you should read this novel. If you prefer unicorns and rainbows, move along, for this book's not for you. It's the Grasshopper Jungle with the horniest bugs, and with phrases you'll read over and over. And the last known survivors could have saved the world. Now with babies and dogs they all live in a bunker. The Grasshopper Jungle. The Grasshopper Jungle. The Grasshopper Jungle.
That was awesome.
Well, I tried not to screw it up too badly. Yeah, so I did make some adjustments to the lyrics to make them easier for me to read. But yeah, so that's the one that was my pick. And Carrie picked a different winner.
I did. I picked Podcast Blues.
Right. So Katy, REDACTED, is going to get the delightful copy of Vampire Academy and perhaps some other things. And Jody, REDACTED, who wrote Podcast Blues, will get
a copy of Awoken.
Excellent book.
Which is really the greatest book ever written. So have fun.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, now Jake and Carrie, they have a podcast. They read books and talk about what they read last. I got the blues. The podcast listening blues. Now, some of those books are entertaining and funny, while some of them make you wish that you didn't spend the money. If you got the blues, then listen to their podcast too. Now they started with Awoken and moved right along. They also read The Western Game, which itself would make an awesome song. I got the blues, the podcast listening blues. For Vampire Academy, they did the movie, not the book. I think they should maybe give it another look. It's not gonna happen, but I got the blues, the podcast listening blues. Now, A Wrinkle in Time is a classic. In fact, I wish I had my own Tesseract. I got the blues, the podcast listening blues. Now, some say Grasshopper Jungle was weird and obtuse, but maybe it was just meant to teach us how to reproduce. I got the blues, the podcast listening blues. Well, now, Carrie often hates the books that Jake picks, so maybe she should force him to read more classics. I got the blues, the podcast listening blues. Well, no matter how you feel about this podcast, I know that Jake and Carrie's friendship will last. I got the blues, the podcast listening blues. Well, now, some of these books are entertaining and funny, while some of them make you wish that you didn't spend the money. I got the blues, the podcast listening blues. So listen to their podcast too. Thank you, Jody. Thank you, Katy. Those are our winners. There are some runners up.
There are?
There are two.
There are?
So I think both of us, when we came to pick the winners, we decided to give the edge to songs that had something to do with the podcast.
In some way, shape, or form.
Yes. So these other entries did not really have anything to do with the podcast.
But we did beg for lyrics, so I think we sort of brought it upon ourselves.
Yes. And given the number of entries, we decided to go ahead and, well, I say we. I decided to go ahead. And
executive decision on Jake's part.
I decided to go ahead and set them to music, all to music. So the rest of you are not getting a physical prize, but you will.
But you get the prize of our love.
Our love.
And Jake's song.
Yes.
Or Jake's music.
On my music to your lyrics. So this is. So this what is the entry from Craig Redacted. Thank you, Craig. And he didn't say what the title is, but I'm going to say it's called Daryl. And here's how it goes, I think. A 4-footed fiend they call Daryl terrorizes my neighborhood park. His blood-curdling wail makes mothers all quail and sequester their kids before dark. Daryl, the devilish dachshund, has diamond-hard fangs made of flame, with eyes black as coal and a pitiless soul, all packed in a 5-inch tall frame. Oh, Daryl, the wiener dog demon, will savage your soul, so they say, with mayhem and malice, but I'm not so callous. I think that he just wants to play.
Thank you so much, Craig Redacted.
Yes. And the last entry is from Iris Redacted. It's called DVT and Taxes. DVT stands for deep vein thrombosis.
Okay.
And let's see. Iris sent me instructions about this, which I didn't. Okay, let me see. Sing it a la Kimya Dawson. Do you know who that is?
I know who that is, yeah.
Okay. Iris actually provided chords and stuff, which I tried, but they were too hard. I couldn't do it. So I made up my own chords and stuff. But I did Google Kimya Dawson, and I did try whose work I don't think I was familiar with, and I did try to be somewhat inspired by it. Doing my taxes, sitting on one knee. I have to get this done today. Oh, woe is me. Leg hurts a little now. Where's that receipt? Gotta be here somewhere. I can't feel my feet. Woe is me. Outside it's raining buckets. No walk today for me. Just as well, cause this deadline must be beat. Woe is me. DVT and taxes. No fun for me. Everybody get up and dance. It's a painful process, but it's 4:14 and the government needs my money to build another fleet of ships to send to China and nukes toward North Korea. Couple of hundred MOABs to bomb the Middle East. Prisons on the border for Latinos trying to flee, and Secret Service helipads right next to the first tee. Woe is me. DVT and taxes. No fun for me. Everybody get up and dance. Internet doctor says I must eat 3 raw garlic cloves a day. Oh, yuck. Woe is me. Ginger, cayenne pepper, some ACV, blackstrap molasses all made into a tea. Woe is me. Choke it all down, prop a pillow under the knee, contemplating how to reach the remote for the TV. Woe is me. DVT and taxes. No fun for me. Everybody get up and dance. DVT and taxes. No fun for me. Everybody get up and dance. DVT and taxes. No fun for me. Everybody get up and dance. DVT and taxes. No fun for me. Everybody get up and dance. Thanks for everyone all 4 of the people who participated in our contest. We'll never do it again, but it ended up being fun.
Congratulations, y'all.
So listen to the podcast too.
LoveWhiteLikeCrazy.com